Apparently you can earn 5 figures, buy a Lambo, retire at 24, all from your bedroom via this incredible new phenomenon within digital marketing freelancing called brand scaling. Except you can't. Or at least not the way that the freelance brand scalers would have you believe. So let's talk about what freelance brand scaling actually is and what you need to do to succeed at it. First of all, freelance brand scaling is not a new concept, and it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not a one-way ticket to passive income, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And if you're genuinely serious about exploring digital marketing freelancing as a career choice, then brand scaling may well be the right channel for you. So we're going to go through exactly what it is, how you get started in it, the best kind of experience you can get before you go freelance, so you can make a real informed decision as to whether it's the right career path for you. So what is freelance brand scaling? Well, ultimately, it's just social media marketing with a fancy dress on. It is literally just paid social media marketing with a sprinkling of content creation and maybe some affiliates and a bit of influencer marketing in there as well, but it's not a new concept. It's been around since Facebook and Meta were a tiny embryo in Mark Zuckerberg's ideation process. But it doesn't sound as fancy or as sexy to say, I create paid ads for a client, as opposed to I scale brands from my bedroom freelance. So that's what it is. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble if you're expecting something a bit more exciting, but there you go. That's what freelance brand scaling is. However, whilst it's not new, it's definitely evolved since when I started out and from when Meta was first created. And it does, in fairness, include more channels and more layers of complexity to it than it did a few years ago. Originally, freelance brand scaling or paid social would be very heavily focused around Facebook and Meta because that's all there really was. Now, with the addition of TikTok and other social platforms, automation, AI, affiliate marketing, UGC content, influencer marketing, all of these other elements that can be brought in and layered in to this freelance brand scaling or social media marketing, however you want to term it, it does make it more complex. So the rebrand, whilst massively overhyped and completely unnecessary, isn't 100% incorrect. It's just way overinflated. Because of all of these added layers of complexity, it's yet another reason as to why you can't just start it with no experience. There's one thing running campaigns for people. There's another thing truly understanding strategy and layers of complexity to make sure that you're delivering a really good service. Because put it this way, would you take your car to a garage where the mechanic has learned how to do his trade on YouTube but never actually touched an engine? Probably not. So why on earth would a business owner, where their business is their most prized possession, part with their own money to get you to run a paid media campaign when you've never done it before? It just doesn't make sense. But again, it doesn't mean that there's a barrier to entry, and it doesn't mean you can't start it. And there are brilliant ways to start it. And if you get the correct experience and then go freelance, the world is your oyster with it. But when we think experience, we think it means time. And we need years and years worth of time under our belt. And whilst that obviously does help, a huge amount of it in digital marketing and freelance brand scaling is down to you and the effort that you put in the time that you're spending on learning these trades. And for us, we feel there's two big ways that you can speed up your learning and your experience within social media marketing or freelance brand scaling. To ensure that if you do work for yourself in this channel, then you give yourself the best foundation possible. And those two ways are either go in-house at a business that already has someone doing paid social or social media for them. Having someone there who knows what they're doing already and can help mentor you and show you the ropes in real time with real money is a brilliant way of understanding the mechanics behind paid social and then give you the actual hands-on experience to do it yourself. However, in my opinion, there's one layer better you can go, and that is digital marketing agencies. I don't think there is a better place for anyone who's interested in learning paid social or social media marketing as a whole than digital marketing agencies. They are utterly brilliant breeding grounds for the best digital marketers out there. They're fast-paced. They give you the ability to have experience across such a wide range of clients. You get to manage small accounts, big accounts, you get to learn creative, but you also get to learn business processes. So how to pitch, how to understand client communication, how to read your clients, all of this stuff that you simply cannot do from a standing start. So my biggest piece of advice for anyone who's interested in exploring social media marketing or brand scaling, get inside the four walls of a digital marketing agency as soon as you can. And this is where you can really ramp up the speed with which you learn your trade as well. Because, so for instance, we've got two people. We've got one person who's got 1 year's experience and we've got someone who's got 3 years experience. But that person with 1 year experience has been inside a digital marketing agency and they have got themselves proactively in as many pitches as they can, as much client comms as they can. They've asked for new opportunities. They've been hands-on as much as they can. Or you have the 3 years experience who's just coasted and they've kind of been happy to have their job, but they haven't been that proactive in learning as much as they physically can. Now, as an employer or a brand, I'm taking that 1 year experienced person because they're proactive and they've bothered to learn as much as they can. So don't be put off by the fact that you do need experience with how long that will take, because fundamentally that's down to you. But you must get into a digital marketing agency to be able to do that. So if you're still here, you're clearly really interested and dedicated to becoming a freelancer within brand scaling or social media marketing. So let's talk a bit about what skills you need personally outside of all of the experience from a digital marketing agency or a brand to help you be the best that you can be. So the first one is to have a vested interest in marketing and psychology. Because the biggest thing with brand scaling from a social media marketing perspective is you're trying to disrupt someone from doing something they're enjoying to get them to buy stuff. Whereas if you're learning how to run paid search ads, so PPC ads, where someone's actively looking for a product already, you know they're in that buying cycle already. Whereas social, you're interrupting their prize doom scrolling time. So to understand psychology and what it takes to disrupt that process is vitally important. And to be really good at that, you've got to be vested and interested in it. The second is to be highly analytical. Within paid social, there's a heck of a lot of numbers that come with it. Numbers is one thing. Interpreting the numbers is a second thing. So you might be presented with a report that has numbers of clicks on it, revenue, profit, margin, cost per click, cost per acquisition, all of these kind of stats, which will either go up or down or stay the same, but it's not the stats themselves. It's interpreting that data and then translating that data into business decisions for your clients, which is going to separate you out from being a good versus a great brand scaler, social media marketer. It is that level of detail and analytical capability that you can pick up from being in the walls of a digital marketing agency, because they can help you sit in client meetings and review reports and review data. And the biggest bit of feedback we get from digital marketing agencies when we partner them with freelancers is that they love it when people can actually sit there and have a commercial conversation that relates to data, as opposed to just say, oh, your stats are up this month or your stats are just down. So the next thing you need is around attention to detail. And that can be anything from spotting typos in ads and creative through to spotting where things have gone right and wrong for your clients so that you can make strategic decisions for them. If you haven't got that level of detail, or that you can't be bothered, or you're seeing freelance brand scaling as a get-rich-quick scheme, you will never get under the skin of the problems that your clients have genuinely got, so you'll never build that level of trust with them. Attention to detail combined with analytical skills and marketing interest is absolutely vital to succeeding in this channel. And to top it all off, you also need to be really creative. So yes, we do have the luxury now of things like AI and image creators and design tools and all of these different platforms that are designed to make our lives easier, which is brilliant. However, you still need to have the creative insights and creative knowledge to be able to critique the designs that are coming out, understand how they're working, why they're not working, and make the relevant changes. Whilst you don't need to be a designer yourself, having that level of understanding with what resonates with audiences is super key. Additionally, if you're not using AI, or you're not using kind of auto-generated images or copy, if you're working directly with designers, you have to have enough of a creative mindset to be able to brief them really well. And as opposed to just say, design me a Facebook ad, it needs to be, I'm targeting this audience, this is what I'm expecting, these are the KPIs and the objectives that creative has, can you help me design something to achieve them? So creativity, very, very key. And the last one, and probably the most important, is to be a really good listener. Now, there's one thing hearing what your clients are saying to you, and there's another big thing around actually listening to what they're saying. You might have a client, an e-commerce client, who wants to sell a product. Done. You've heard they want to sell a product. But the difference between someone who hears and someone who listens is the actual strategy that they deploy off the back of listening to their clients. Yes, they want to sell product, but what are the margins on those products? Is there a product that has a higher margin than another one? Are there products that rely on different types of stock levels? Are there different ones that have a certain level of seasonality? All of these layers of nuance that will relate specifically to your clients are the bits of info that if you digest them and then apply them to your campaigns and your accounts will absolutely knock it out of the park and your clients will be really happy. Whereas if you just hear, they want to sell loads of stuff, but you don't actually really understand what your clients are trying to achieve on a much more detailed level, then you'll never make that true connection with them. And the best way to connect with clients is to make them feel that you genuinely understand where they're coming from and that you genuinely care as to what they're trying to achieve. Selling things is one thing, selling the right things for the right price at the right margin, right stock levels, the right time of year, whole different kettle of fish, and not something you can learn from YouTube. You just have to do it over and over and over again. So if this has all sounded a little bit overwhelming and you've come into this video thinking freelance brand scaling is going to be amazing, but now you have no idea where to start, then I'm glad, actually, because that just proves you care. It proves that you genuinely understand that social media marketing or freelance brand scaling or being a freelancer in digital marketing is not easy. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes skill, it takes consistency, and it takes experience to be able to fly the nest of a digital agency or a brand to then run channels by yourself. However, this video is very much not designed to put you off. It's just designed to give you a genuine insight into what it takes. And anyone can do it. Anyone can really do it. But having the right knowledge gives you the ability to decide whether it's really right for you in the first place. And if you're really serious about thriving as a freelancer, then check out our 10-step freelancer playbook that I put together because it's based on the processes that I laid out myself. And in the meantime, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, think long term, think big picture, don't think Lambo and early retirement just yet, and the rest will fall into place.